All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Abs. Anything but sports. On today's episode, my guest is Sawyer.
And my guest is John.
Yay.
We're each other's guests.
What an amazing episode this is going to be.
And you'll be surprised to find out that is intentional. We chose to not have anyone on the podcast this week.
That is
because
surprising.
Why did we choose that, John?
You guys, it's episode 10. It's kind of crazy to think that we've been doing this for over 2 months. It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, when you say 10 episodes to me, I'm like, okay, whatever. But when you say 10 weeks, that's like, oh, wow, that's a long time to be doing anything.
Yeah. So I think we've had some good guests. I think we've had some very interesting conversations.
You want to rank them?
Yeah, let's rank our guests. No, what have been some of your favorite conversations so far, or even some of your most interesting answers? Maybe you didn't expect someone to say.
I've really enjoyed the answers that surprised me, because I've known of most of the people that we've talked about. And I could at the very least, build versions of them in my mind. Mm-hmm. And I had guesses, whether it was subconscious or conscious, about how they would answer the questions that we asked them. And my favorite ones were always the ones where they gave an answer that was just completely different from what I was expecting. And my favorite answers are always the ones that are different than the ones that I believe. Because I think hearing other people's interpretations of life, of career, of success is only beneficial in expanding my idea of those things. So yeah, I think we've gotten some really unexpected answers.
I think that my favorite question that we ask is always someone's definition of success. And the reason being, everyone always is like, wow, that's such a good question. Like, everyone always says that. And they always take a lot of time to think about it. And I think, really, that's not something that people think about daily. That's something that maybe you have in the back of your mind. Maybe it's like a subconscious idea that you generally have. But it's not something that you wake up every morning. You're like, well, I'm going to change my definition of success today. Or, like, I'm going to do this, that, or the other with success. And I don't think we've had a person echo another person in their definition of success. I think every guest that we've had, it has been something completely different. And that's why it's my favorite question.
Yeah.
Not only do we ask it every single time, but just the answers we've gotten.
I mean, it is a really good question. I hadn't answered that question. I think I had thought about that question in different contexts before, but I had never been asked what my definition of success was until that first day that you asked me. And I think that was also the day we decided we wanted to do the podcast. Mm-hmm. was at that same conversation. And asking that question to these friends week by week has made me more thoughtful of my definition of success on a daily basis, like when I'm at work and when I'm at home. And I feel like I'm at least thinking about, but occasionally over the past 10 weeks, I feel like I have made decisions that I would have not made before that are me acting on trying to improve or like trying to work toward my definition of success.
Have we talked about our definitions of success on the podcast?
I have no idea. Probably not.
I don't think we have. I think maybe we have. We've hinted towards them. I know there have been several examples of me answering someone's answer with like, oh, that's interesting. Me and Sawyer, our definition has to do with this. But I don't think that we have actually ever like said our definitions of success. Mm. So should we do that?
I think we should. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I told you off camera, off podcast, that mine had changed because of Stephen R. Covey. Not necessarily in the way that I nothing has really changed the way that I act, but I do think that my understanding of how to measure your definition of success has changed because of the example that I gave you. So that example being, and this is coming from Stephen R. Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or whatever it's called. He challenges the reader to think of death. Think of you dying. You're in a casket, yet you're at your own funeral. And three very important people that you know are giving your eulogy. One from work, one from a community organization like a church or somewhere that you may volunteer at, and then another from your family. So probably your spouse or your closest family member. And he challenges the reader to think, what would you want them to say about you? Not what would they say about you. It's like, oh, he's a horrible person, I hate him. But what would you want them to say about you? And when you really sit there and think about it, you come to understand what your definition of success really is. Because if you say, oh, well, I don't know, I want them to say that he was a great person, maybe he was a great husband or a great son, maybe he was very forgiving or thoughtful, then your definition of success is working towards achieving what you want them to say. So if someone, before I'd read that, if someone were to ask me what's my definition of success, I would have said, well, maybe financial stability, or maybe some societal hierarchy, something like that. But then when I read that, I was like, oh, well, this is actually, even though I say, well, I want a ton of money, that's my definition of success, I'm super mature. Really what I'm thinking in the back of my mind is, I want to be known as this type of person. And that's my success. Because when you die, you can't take money with you. So it doesn't really matter anyway.
And no one is going to say at your funeral, John had a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think my definition of success has very recently changed to that.
Wait, to what? I think you really set up the example, but what do you want people to say about you at your funeral?
Oh, well, I guess that's a good question. I did really set that up and then gave no answer, didn't I? I think I would want people to say he was a good friend. He was very thoughtful. He gave thought-provoking questions or ideas. He didn't follow the crowd. I do want people to remember me by my actions, I guess. If I was a nice person, someone who didn't give up on their goals, who reached, what they were aiming for. Yeah, I think really that's what I would like to achieve.
So that definition focuses a lot on you and your personality and who you are internally and what you put out externally. And it involves work, but it's not specific to work.
No.
So with those clarifiers, right now, do you meet your definition of success?
I think there is merit in wanting to achieve goals. So there are many people that I've said, well, I want to do this. This is where I want to be. I have yet to fail completely. And this is almost exclusively related to work, or like the goals that I have for my career. Internally, do I think I'm a nice person? Yeah. Do I think I'm a good friend? Yes. Have I met the majority of my criteria? I think so. Going back to work-related success, the area where I said that he achieved his goals. Like I said, there is merit in saying I want to achieve this and then not failing yet. So what I mean by that is if I had said, oh, I'm setting out to do this. I'm going to be a line producer. And I went back home and lived in my mom's basement, that would be a failure. But I'm not doing that. I'm here still trying to achieve the goals. So I think in a way, I would be deemed successful because I've yet to fail.
So you're saying that, like, if your goal is to be a line producer and you work your entire life and you never become a line producer, but you never give up, that is still considered success.
Yes, because I think really what it boils down to is, and like I said earlier, I would want someone to say he didn't give up. So even if I never make it, I would prefer to never quit and then never make it than to quit.
So after saying that, would you edit your definition of success and not say, I want people to say he achieved his goals, but would you rather people say he never stopped pursuing his goals?
I would much rather someone say he achieved his goals. I would hate to just continue to pursue. But I do think that the continuing to pursue would be a nice little silver medal that someone could give me. And be like, congratulations, you didn't stop, but you also didn't complete what you're trying to go for.
Yeah.
But you did have the guts to continue to try to do what you're trying to do. Yeah, I think if I died right now, I think people would say, was he rich? No. Was he living paycheck to paycheck? Yes. But did he put himself out there to try to achieve his goals? Did he leave everything behind twice to try to achieve something or become something that is better than what he was raised to be? Yes. So I think if I died today, I would be successful. What about you? I'd love to hear your definition. Not necessarily to how it relates to what I just said, but how it's changed or where it is right now.
Yeah. Well, before the funeral question, my definition of success was pretty much exclusively work-based. Like, even after I had put intentional thought into it, I, made it slightly more achievable and not just completely unrealistic. But it was still, very much career lines. And so I guess my definition of success was, honestly, it was still pretty loose. And that's why I loved hearing other people's definitions, because I think I'm still trying to figure out what mine is. But man, it's hard to get out of your mind. I don't know. I probably say I want to make content. I want to be responsible for creative decisions that impact people and leave marks on society that outlive me. I think that would be my ultimate, and one that I still stand by, but my before the funeral question definition would be, I want to have some sort of legacy. I would love for people to remember my work and strive and learn or study me. That would be such an honor. I can't even fathom how amazing that would feel. Of course, I'd be dead.
Right. So you'll never fathom how amazing that would feel.
Yeah. So I guess I will only ever potentially be successful when I'm dead. Right. But then the funeral question, you asked that off camera last week. And my answer was, I want to be known as a loyal person, a loyal friend, partner, mentor, coworker, all those things. I want to be loyal in every aspect of my life. And then I said, and then the second thing, which is lower, definitely the loyal part is top priority. But then right underneath that is, at my funeral, I would love for someone to say something about my work. That would be that would be pretty that would be part of my definition of success. And by that definition, the biggest, most important part of my definition, I also think that I am currently a loyal friend, partner, and coworker. And so by my own definition, I am successful, but it certainly does not feel that way. I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, do you think you've achieved the second part?
No.
So maybe that's the reason why?
Maybe. But I don't know. It doesn't, the loyal part feels good. To think, I think people would say that I was a good friend and a loyal friend. But like in the day to day. Like, I mean, when you're thinking about your death, you know, everything is put into perspective. But when I wake up in the morning, I do not wake up thinking, well, at least I'm a loyal person. You know,
right.
In the day to day, I want so much more than that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to balance those things. Maybe it just takes time. Maybe I'm supposed to train my mind to wake up every morning and say, well, at least I'm a loyal person.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what the goal should be.
You need to like take a little piece of paper and write in Sharpie, at least you're a loyal person, and then like tape it to your roof so that when you wake, or not your roof, but your ceiling, so that when you wake up, you'll instantly see that. You'll be like, wow. So I think the next thing I want to talk about, and we talked about this off podcast, is our YouTube channel is hitting 10 years come February 3rd, I believe. So for those who don't know, myself, Sawyer, and all of your siblings have a YouTube channel called The Mischief Makers that we and Micah started. Micah is your younger sibling. So I guess all your siblings are your younger siblings.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Yeah. We started way back in the day in 2013, and Micah and I uploaded our first video. It was a claymation. It was just us destroying this clay dude. And on February 3rd, 2013. So we are very quickly approaching 10 years of this channel being in existence. And I think that we have produced so much great content on this channel. But we only have 89 subscribers. After 10 years, we only gained 89 subscribers.
Wow, that's almost 10 a year.
True. That is almost 10 a year. But I don't know. It's been... looking back on it, it's very hard to wrap up my feelings on the Mischief Makers in a few sentences. But, I mean, if it wasn't for that YouTube channel, we probably wouldn't have known each other.
If it wasn't for that YouTube channel, I don't even know what career I would be in right now. I mean, making those stupid videos is what taught me that I enjoy making stupid videos.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm the same way. Isn't that crazy?
It really is, yeah.
Who would have thought? And we had, when we first started out, what camera did we use?
It was a flip video.
Yeah, it was a flip video camera, and then you guys had that like really bad tripod that when you turned it, it would squeak.
Well, it was not that's another funny. It was not the tripod's fault. It was locked, like it was screwed in. And we were just trying to turn the head while it was locked, so it kept going.
And then we upgraded from the flip video camera, which actually was a good video camera for its time. Yeah. I enjoyed that flip video camera. Then we upgraded to this other very small video camera with a microphone on top.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was like a built-in mic, but it wasn't like a camcorder. It was just like this thing. I don't even know how to best describe it. It was so odd. And then after that, I think we upgraded to this, right? Did we have anything in between this camera right here?
Probably, but
that one.
I think the point you're trying to get to, the point that I want to talk about is our creative growth as well. Because like our first video was just you and Micah squishing a little Play-Doh guy.
Yeah.
And then our most recent video was Donathan's Show-a-thon.
Yeah, which is actually really funny.
Which we put a lot of effort into and wrote the script and did a lot of set design and a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and it took us 12 hours to film.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff in between that.
Yeah. And you described it once before as...
I call it just like a moving photo album.
Yeah, photo album of our work. And even though you and I have done many things separate from this YouTube channel, it still reflects where we're at in our career each time we upload a video.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's videos of us growing up together, you know? And I think that's really cool.
I think it is too. Another thing about it is that we've created an entire lore surrounding these characters that we've made. And honestly, I think that may be my favorite part about the YouTube channel, is because we made original stories, and they were like so bizarre that, and we do have videos on there, for those who don't know, that are like vlog style videos, but really our trilogy, the Joshua trilogy, is definitely my favorite. And then Donathan's Showathan was just a spin-off of that. Because, I mean, we created these, like, insane characters that that you could tell a little kid created.
Yeah.
But then as we grew into young adults, we just continued playing those roles. So, anyway, it's just, I don't know. I really hope YouTube never shuts down, because those videos are going to be such great memories to like show our kids.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, I think that's another important part of it, is like, I never want to forget about those videos. I will never be embarrassed or ashamed of those videos. Like, I'll show them to anyone, and I'd say at your risk. I mean, they're bad and long.
Yeah.
But like, for me, it is such a positive memories associated with that, with our skill level, with our creativity, with just our friendship and closeness during that time. Like, it really does. It feels like a moving photo from Harry Potter, of all of us just like interacting together and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I will be watching those. I'll be watching our videos for the rest of my life.
I think another thing that, to even go like as a deeper subject, I think that those videos, watching them, they represent like an easier time, a time where I didn't have to worry about paying rent or paying any bills, really. I didn't have to worry about getting a job. Like, everything that we did for that YouTube channel, even though eventually it would change into our career, all of that was just for fun. And like, we didn't have to worry about funding. Or like, we didn't even know what like a producer or a director of photography was. We had no idea.
Yeah.
But yet it was just, when I look back and I watch those videos, I just think, wow, those were like such great times, because it wasn't like we were trying to make something to pitch to somebody else. It was just a vomit of creativity.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an attitude that I would like to bring to every production, especially specifically ones that I have like any kind of creative input on. Mm-hmm. I don't want to worry about money as much as I worry about fun, honestly.
Yeah. That's for me to worry about.
You worry about the money.
Yeah.
I'll worry about the fun.
Can we have the fun officer on set, please?
Are we going to continue making videos?
Yes.
For the Mischief Makers?
That is a great question. I would be okay with it, as long as we don't put any good content on there. Because here's where we're at now, or here's where I think we're at. Very soon, spoiler alert, this podcast has already transitioned into being owned by McGree's Family Productions in name. So I've changed it on Spotify. So I think, like I said, where we're at now, anything that we make that is good or that is thoughtful needs to be owned by something that is real, like McGree's Family Productions. Whereas if we want to make any more Joshua related content, that would go on the Mischief Makers. So I really think I would love to keep producing stuff for Mischief Makers, just because it's fun to have that like collective of like the lore. I just love the lore. That's my favorite part, like I said. But anything that we do that could potentially make us money, I think we need to put on McGree's. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think there's parts of that sentiment that can transition over into other areas of our lives as well. Hobbies and careers, and trying to keep those things separate. Like, because, I mean, I know for me personally, if I try anything for the first time, like for example, I have a mild interest in learning how to make music.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was like, oh, could I like turn this in, like, could I become famous for this? Could I turn this into a career?
Yeah.
And I think it is healthy to have things that you do just for fun and you choose to not pursue it in any kind of professional context, to keep it pure and to keep it fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So be on the lookout, listeners, for more Joshua-related content on the Mischief Makers. Imagine how hilarious it would be if content on the Mischief Makers got us a job and McGrease Family Productions got us nothing.
Oh, that would be really funny. And honestly, like, not surprising at all, you know? Like, I mean, because stuff like that happens all the time. Why does it always feel like the stuff that you put lots of effort into is the stuff that sits stagnant, and then, like, the silly, weird stuff is the stuff that skyrockets?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it because there's so much more life and passion in the silly stuff and there's no pressure?
I think so. That may be it. Something that, to go along those lines, something that I was always very surprised of is that none of our content on the Mischief Makers ever made it, like, ever got viral. No one ever saw this and was like, wow, this is awful. Let's put this. I think maybe one time you mentioned, you said something like, I can't wait for this to end up on like the top 10 cringiest videos of all time list. So I'm honestly surprised that didn't happen, because think of Lonely Boy Industries. They made the Cool Guy series.
Oh, yeah.
And Mr. Funk. That was awesome. I love those videos. But they were just silly, like nonsensical videos. And I would dare say that our videos were in line with those types of videos. And, or at least their content. So I expected, you know, at some point for our videos to go viral.
It could still happen.
It could.
They're still on the internet.
That's true. It could still go viral.
Oh my gosh. If we made it into the top 10 worst videos of all time, I would be so happy. That would be such a badge of honor to me.
Which one of our Mischief Maker videos do you think would make it in?
It's the worst video of all time.
Yeah. Maybe the times 2. What was it?
Play-Doh and its many uses times 2. Just for context, we made a video called Play-Doh and its many uses, and it's just us like doing weird stuff with Play-Doh. And then for whatever reason, we thought it'd be cool or funny to just publish the exact same video but at 200% speed. Yeah. For no reason, like nothing has changed about it. It's just twice as fast. And honestly, it is so much better than the first one because it's so much more consumable.
Yeah. I think the reason why we did that, I think it was solely my idea, because I was editing it and I saw in iMovie that you could speed things up times 2. And I remember I had this idea in my head that I wanted to do weekly uploads on that channel. And I was like, well, I got to do something. Got to put something out. Otherwise, people are going to stop watching. So I was like, all right, here's Play-Doh and its many uses times 2.
Luckily, we figured something out for the following week, or else it would have been Play-Doh and its many uses times 3. That's so funny. 'Cause, I mean, that is so reflective of, like, kind of who you are now. You know, even back then as a kid, you were like, guys, we have to put out a video every week, you know, and that kind of discipline and motivation is still present in you today. All right, let me ask you this. Is this a good idea or bad idea? Truman Show podcast, basically, where the person is not aware of it and you are live streaming their audio. Like you have mic'd them somehow and you can hear everything they say 24/7 and people could listen to it live at any point.
Awful idea.
Why?
All right, let's assume that there were no privacy laws.
Okay. Let's change it. Let's do some more realistic. The person is aware. They're choosing to do this.
Then
They mic and live stream themselves audio 24/7.
amazing idea. So that was the only thing that changed it, was if they were aware. Because I think I've actually thought of, if I could potentially put cameras around my apartment and live stream myself, I would want to do that. A challenge that I've just been thinking in my head was live streaming my life in my apartment for 100 days. Like, not even, like, nothing would change. It would just be me in my apartment. But I would just be live streamed the entire time.
Wow.
I think that would be awesome.
Do you think that would affect what you did?
Yeah, I think so. I think I wouldn't walk around with just underwear on. I think I would probably have shorts on the whole time.
Do you think you'd be more productive if you felt the pressure of people watching you?
I think I would. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why I would want to do it. The thing that's holding me back is it costs money to do that. It would probably be an insane electricity bill when I got the bill the next month, or the few months that I do it. And also, I'm afraid my computer would explode because it would always be on and always pumping out. It would always be uploading something. But I think it would be a great idea. I think that would be an amazing social experiment. If you were in a controlled environment and you were just live stream for 100 days. I think it'd be great. And I also think that it could catch on. I think people would be interested in it. Even if it's just for, like, just to stop by and just see what's happening. It's like, oh, I wonder what he's doing right now. Oh, he's asleep. Okay. You know? You don't have to watch 24/7. So I think if you take the video aspect out, I think it's just an idea, because it's just 24/7 of you talking. You would have to watch what you say, obviously, but
You should do that regularly.
yeah. But I think it'd be a great idea. What do you think? What do you think of both of those ideas?
If I was the person live streaming for the podcast, I would be incredibly stressed. I think there's a chance that I would get used to it eventually. I think it would challenge me. Like, I would overanalyze every single word that came out of my mouth for at least 2 weeks. And maybe I would get used to it eventually. But that is pretty scary to think about.
Let me interrupt you. Who is this live streaming to? Is this live streaming to, like, the government?
No, it's like a YouTube live video.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about then. Think of this is my take on this. Think of all of the most idiotic live streamers that get incredibly famous, and they say the most edgy stuff, like the most, like, radical things you could think of, and, like, they do the most insane things. Even though I definitely understand where you're coming from, I think that the pressure of having to make sure that, like, everything you say, even is grammatically correct, shouldn't even be there.
Well, I think it's less. I care less about what, like, an unnamed YouTube viewer would think.
Yeah.
And I would care more about, like, what if someone in your life, like, heard you say something. I mean, I don't like every single person that I know. You know, I've probably said, oh, this person frustrates me.
Yeah.
And what if that person heard that thing and then came to you later? I guess in the end, that would be good, a positive, because that would force a confrontation, theoretically, that could improve your relationship. But it could also destroy it.
Vote right now. Vote in the comments, listeners. Should we do this? Should we live stream everything we do and say, whatever you vote on, we'll do. We'll find a way. For those who are listening on Spotify, we do have a YouTube channel. It is linked in every single podcast episode. And for those who are watching on YouTube, we have a Spotify. So feel free to listen there. We also upload on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, and somewhere else. I don't know.
That's crazy. I didn't even know.
But we're all over the place. So So yeah, feel free to subscribe or follow or do whatever. Rate us on Spotify.
Reach out.
Yeah.
We will. We don't have any. We have nothing but time. We'll respond to you.
Yeah. So, that being said, Sawyer, thanks so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for being mine. Have a great week.
Yeah, you as well. And we will see you in the next one. See ya.
Goodbye.